Energy was great. Guys were excited to be out in the court finally to start training camp. So the energy, the excitement was a huge positive. But everybody tries to do too much in the first day, so it gets a little bit frenetic. It gets a little bit sloppy at times, and that's to be expected. So we'll watch film tomorrow. We'll clean some things up, but I would say all in all, it was a very good first practice.
This. What's the kind of the common theme this season? What are you trying to work on the most going into the season?
I mean, I would say a lot of things, but as I told our team last night in the meeting that we had, the presentation that I went through with them, it's no secret, Chris. We have to be better defensively. Last couple of years, we have a unique offensive identity, and we've become a premier offensive team in the NBA. It's no secret. But on the other side of the ball, there has to be buy-in, there has to be commitment, there has to be improvement. And when we do that, and we do that consistently, we'll be a very dangerous team. And that's my hope, is that we can really instill that in training camp. Not take away from the offense, but I think if our defense improves, that will only strengthen our offense. So if we can come out of here in great shape, if we can come out of here a closer and more connected team, and a team that understands the importance and value of defense, it will have been a great training camp here in San Diego.
Does the mindset feel different this year? Because you guys are accepting the pressure of trying to be a playoff team this year, a playoff robust mentality. Has that changed the mindset of the guys coming in for day one? Has it felt different at all?
Not at all. Because our first goal isn't playoffs. Our first goal is getting better every day. And I know that may sound corny, cliche, whatever, but it's true. Today, I think we got better today. It was sloppy at times. It wasn't perfect, but I thought we improved as a collective unit. Now the goal is to make sure every day we continue to do that. There's 30 teams out there that want what we want. Everybody's having the same great first day of training camp, great off season. We're all saying the same thing. The reality is only 8 teams make it in the conference. So for us, it has to be daily improvement, pushing each other, holding each other accountable. And if we don't do that every day, I think we'll have a chance to be a really good team by the end of the season.
Paul was asked about the defense yesterday, Millsap was, asked if this could be sort of a tough, gritty defensive team, and he said it has to be more of a position defense team, like that's where you guys are going to make your mark. Is that kind of the assessment that you would have of what you guys have to be, or is there also room for added toughness on this team as well?
I think anytime you can add grit and toughness, those intangibles, I think those go a long way, especially on that end of the floor. And to Paul's point, I think positionally, being in the right place at the right time, knowing your rotations, knowing the game plan, having discipline on that end of the floor is also just as important. So I think it's a combination. I've been part of some great defensive teams, and we didn't have the toughest guys in the world, but they knew where to be. They were very intelligent. They anticipated. And then I've been around some other guys that are just, guys that you hated playing against because of that grit, that toughness that you speak of. And I think that depends on the individual. But collectively, no matter who is on the floor, what 5 guys are out there, we have to find a way to be improved. Grit, positionally, whatever it may be, discipline, communication, and multiple effort are kind of the 3 things that we're hammering home on that end of the floor.
Can you speak to just being able to hit the floor running? I mean, there's no position battles. You got a starting 5 that's a lot of it started last year as well. There's just a lot of familiarity and how much easier that is to kind of get into a training camp and get things going.
It's funny. This might be the first training camp, definitely since I've been a head coach, but maybe even as an assistant, where we were in 5-on-5 scrimmage at the end of practice on day 1. Obviously, day 1, you're trying to put stuff in and introduce stuff and philosophy, terminology. Well, to your point, Dempsey, I think the advantage that we have is continuity. Year 4, we know each other. That's already in. And the fact that our players are so invested in this season that they were in Denver all summer. They were in Vegas. They were in Atlanta. They were back in last week of August, before Labor Day. We're ahead of the curve. So we have hit the ground running. We are, I think, probably ahead of a lot of teams just because of the continuity that we have. And I think that's a great luxury that we fortunately possess.
Coach, thinking back to this past summer during free agency, what was kind of your first thought? What ran through your mind when you got the news that you guys re-signed Will Barton?
I was over in, I think when that happened, I was in Malaga, Spain with Juancho. And the week before, I was in Sombor, Serbia with Nikola. Constant communication with Tim in the front office. But my first reaction was relief. I knew that, there was a chance that Will Barton could have gone elsewhere. There was a lot of teams interested in him that were willing to offer him big money. So when I found out that he decided to stay with us, it was a huge relief. I was in constant communication with him the whole time, letting him know how important he was to me and to this team and to our future. And the fact that he made that decision, I think, was a relief for all of us, and I'm thankful that he's back.
What's his voice like inside the locker room, before games, halftime, in practice settings? Like, how big of a voice does he have with these guys?
It's growing. I'd say he has a growing and changing voice. When I first got here, this team has changed quite a bit. And I think of all the guys that have come and gone rather. But I think Will is one of those guys that is finding his voice, getting comfortable with his voice, and not afraid to use it. I thought he did a great job today in practice of being vocal, with his teammates on defense. Tim joked yesterday at the press conference, there's Will Barton and there's Thrill. And, when you join that starting lineup, we need Will Barton to be Will Barton. It's not time for Thrill. He's got to buy in and do all the little things and be disciplined. But I'm excited that he's here. It's great to see him growing into a leader and using his voice, and hopefully all the other guys can do that as well.
What are your goals for the core this season individually? Where are you going to see him get improved?
My goals for him are to be an even better defender, first and foremost. He's never going to be the elite shot blocker, but I think he can be an unbelievable position defender, be in the right place in the right time, be the anchor of our defense. Offensively, I want him to continue to be the player that he is. We play through him for a reason, but he's got to cut down on his turnovers a little bit and value in the basketball a little bit more. And then just overall, another young guy that is the face of our franchise that has to get comfortable being a leader, handling adversity. So a lot of it is off the court. And to me, he's shown tremendous growth in the last couple of years as we continue to talk about his growth as a player, as a leader, and as a young man. And obviously, we feel pretty fortunate that he's here, and that's why we signed him to the big contract.
You've mentioned a couple of times now that this team has an identity. In your words, what is that identity?
I think we're one of the most exciting teams in the NBA to watch. I mean, we talk about our team and our identity, trying to be a team that defends and rebounds at a high level. That will allow us to get out and run with discipline, and we got to value and share the basketball. Those are things we talk about all the time. But if you're just an average fan, we are a team that is really unselfish, that plays up tempo, that plays the game the right way. You're not going to see 17 dribble possessions with one-on-one ISO. The ball's going to move. And we got guys that genuinely care for each other. And you can see it. I can say it, but I think you as a fan, when you watch us play, you can see us on the floor, the way we play, that they're really invested in each other. And we don't play just with each other, we play for each other. And I think that's a huge difference.
Nikola was talking about how loud Isaiah Thomas has been at this point and being around this team. How has his voice been so far in this short college time?
Well, we've had one practice, and I talked to Isaiah before practice. And he said, "What do you need from me, Coach?" And I said, "Listen, right now you can't do a lot of stuff on the court. That's not the only reason you're here. I need you to be involved in practice. I need you to pull Jamal and Monte to the side and tell them what you see. And I need you to be a leader." And he was all that and then some in practice, number one. Sometimes he's going to be a hype machine, get everybody hyped up. Sometimes he's going to be the guy talking smack. But one thing I know for sure, Isaiah Thomas is never going to be quiet, and I don't want him to be quiet because he does a great job of being a vocal presence for this group, and I think that's sorely needed.